Hi, and welcome to a midweek episode of In the Blue Paint. Now, I know I talk about the Leafs a lot, and my Sunday videos are mainly dedicated to them, so I think I'm going to start talking about the rest of the NHL and other interesting stories in hockey on a midweek video. So this is the first episode during the middle of the week, and I want to talk today about the big trade that happened between Buffalo and the Jets. It's the hot topic in the NHL, and although many of you are aware of what's going on, I just want to give you my opinion and my thoughts on the trade. All right, here we go. So earlier today, the Jets and the Buffalo Sabres were able to make a deal. The Jets send Evander Kane and Zach Bogosian to the Buffalo Sabres in return for Tyler Myers, uh, Joel Armia, Drew Stafford, Lemieux, and a first-round pick, which Buffalo gets to choose. So it'll probably either be the St. Louis Blues pick that they acquired or the Islanders pick. Um, and the immediate response was from a lot of different people on Twitter about who had won this trade and the Sabres had won or the Jets had won. And I think I'm going to make the argument that both teams have won this trade. So it's really an old-fashioned hockey trade. Um, and you don't see these very often. They're very rare. Usually there isn't NHL caliber players going both ways, or it's a short-term versus long-term type deal. Where in this case, I think both teams benefit in the short term and the long term. Now, obviously, Buffalo has not been very good this year. They're in dead last. And so acquiring Evander Kane, who is only 23 years old but is injured, helps them not only stay bad this year and get a good pick, but also when he returns after his shoulder surgery, um, he can be part of their core going forward. He's 23, as I said, and he's definitely got the offensive skill to be in the top six. And so that's a good add for them. They also get Zach Bogosian, which helps minimize the loss of Tyler Myers, who's going the other way in the trade. Um, Zach Bogosian, another young player who can be part of the Buffalo Sabres core. So the Buffalo Sabres, A, get better in the long term because they get two young pieces that can be part of their core, and B, they still don't improve that much this year, which helps them get a better chance at Connor McDavid. Now, the Jets. The Jets look like they are, in some cases, losers in this deal, but I don't really think they're that big of losers. I think they've been really smart about this. The GM of the Jets has thought about this. Now, Evander Kane and the Jets have had some problems lately, and it's clear that Kane didn't really want to be there. So, although he is very talented and a very good player, moving him was going to be a thing that the Jets needed to do. And they are also trying to fight for the playoffs this year. So, by getting some players back that can help them right now, the Jets have helped their playoff run. So they got Tyler Myers, who's a big guy and does have skill. He was drafted highly. He won the Calder. He's just struggled in Buffalo. I think a change in scenery as well as playing in a deeper defense where he's not going to have to be the guy is really going to help him. They also get Drew Stafford, who obviously is no Evander Kane. He's not going to be, like a 30-goal scorer, but he is depth scoring. He can play on the third line. He's been an NHLer. He can score in the NHL. He's going to be a good addition to the Jets when they need to get scoring down the stretch. But they've also, so that's the short-term game. They've gotten some pieces that can help them make the playoffs this year and hopefully have, maybe win a round or something. I think that's what they're aiming for in the playoffs this year. And then, but they also got two prospects and a pick, which helps them in the future. So Evander Kane didn't really want to be there. Yeah, he's young and he's really talented, and it sucks to lose a guy like that because that kind of talent's hard to replace. But when you can add to your prospect pool, um, you know, maybe Armia is not going to be as good as Kane is, but you never know. He might be, or Lemieux might turn out really well, or that first might turn into a really good player. You just don't know. Prospects can sometimes just come out of nowhere and be really good players. So I think the Jets have done a really good job of maximizing what they could get from a bad situation. You know, if Evander Kane and the Jets hadn't had this dispute or this bad blood, and it was just there was no rumors going around that he wanted out, then could they've gotten more? Maybe, probably, but that wasn't the situation they were in, and I don't think the Jets wanted to get rid of Bogosian because he's a good young player, but they do have fairly good depth on defense, and they did bring back Tyler Myers, who can replace that kind of skill. So um, overall, I think it's a good deal for both teams. So obviously, this is just the first deal of what's going to be an exciting couple weeks leading up to the trade deadline. I just saw on Twitter that the Buffalo Sabres have traded Jonas Enroth to Dallas. I'm not sure what the return is, but it seems like the teams that are sellers are starting to sell, and hopefully the Leafs start making some trades soon. If you I made a video on Sunday about what I thought the Leafs were going to trade and what I thought the return was going to be, so you can check that out if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. See you later.